Man, I love boxing, man. And God has a sense of humor. You know, 2 weeks ago, we just saw somebody take a knee. And they didn't lose a point. Now, yesterday, we saw somebody else take a knee in a whole nother fashion, and the person that gave it didn't lose a point.
On to me a little bit too long there, that's why. Ball, yeah, oh, that's naughty, isn't it?
Yeah, I caught him with a right hook, caught him with a jab, caught him with an uppercut, kicked him in it.
So wait, you're telling me Nick Ball, who we saw select TJ Doheny as a cherry pick, employ dirty tactics, hit him with a scary kick, to make Naoya Inoue respond? Yeah, the plot gets very thick. Bars.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bars, nigga. You know nothing about that.
If I tell you I'm good, probably you will say I'm boasting. If I tell you I'm no good, you know one line.
Yo, what's good, Boxing Talk family? It's your boy Dr. Boxing Talk, back for another YouTube video. Banger, man. Yes sir, yes ma'am. I don't know what time it is. The doctor's in the house, man, so check this out. As you know, this past Saturday, yesterday, the boxing was kind of underwhelming as a whole. We saw some fights in England, and of course we came back to Florida, the crib, and we saw some fights over there in Orlando, and they weren't that great, but it was good enough. I love boxing, so I was excited to see Edgar Berlanga come back and make short work out of Mantequilla, Gonzalez. And then we also got to see who was the main event, Ammo Williams, bounce back from his loss to Hamza Shiraz against Patrice Volney in a very competitive fight, And then in England, though, Charlie Edwards, oh my gosh, that was one of the worst performances ever, man.
Know your fucking place, trash.
It reminded me of what we saw with Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz. It was very akin to Jermaine Ortiz's performance. I'm so happy that boxing did not reward that shitty performance. We need to get that out of boxing, man, because like I said, boxing is a fighting style, right? Every fighting style has one thing in common. When you want to fight, you have to engage. I don't care if your fighting style is karate. I don't care if it's jeet kune do. I don't care if it's kung fu. I don't care if it's wrestling. I don't care if it's boxing. They're all fighting styles, and in order to fight, you have to engage. Charlie Edwards nor Jermaine Ortiz was trying to engage when they fought their respective opponents in Andrew Kane and Teofimo Lopez. So the right person won. I'm mad that it was even that close. It had to go down to a split decision. I thought that was ridiculous. I gave Andrew Kane every single round, and I'm not ashamed of it, man. That's trash. The only person that should be ashamed is Charlie Edwards. That fight was garbage, man. His performance was terrible.
Know your fucking place, trash.
But let's move on to the main event with Nick Ball and Doheny. Yeah, Nick Ball, we witnessed him make one of the most egregious, blatant cherry picks this year from a young champion. Him fighting TJ Doheny is ridiculous. TJ Doheny has 5 losses.
What?
He's 38 years old.
Damn.
And he's coming off of a stoppage loss at a lower weight division. There's no positive in this. Nick Ball beating him, it doesn't move the meter at all. Like, this win over TJ Doheny literally means nothing, and it's crazy that people are not saying that. I've been saying this. I'm going to say it again. This fight was nothing but a cherry pick. It was terrible. We need to hold all fighters to the same standards, because if this was Canelo or Gervonta Tank Davis, people would be irate. You know what I'm saying? Say, oh man, all they do is picking easy fights. Well, when somebody picks an easy fight right in front of your face, nobody says nothing. It goes under the radar. TJ Doheny, he was a cherry pick for Naoya Inoue. And so, he's going to be a cherry pick later at a higher weight division for Nick Ball. And Nick Ball still couldn't seal the deal. I'm talking about the man employed dirty tactics.
I need him in the leg. Probably shouldn't have done it.
What?
Just give him a little knee to the thigh.
It was a tough fight. It only ended early because TJ Doheny decided not to come off of his stool to go into the 12th round. That's way too long. And then this man had the audacity to call out Naoya Inoue. I mean, what are we talking about, man? And before he did that, he kicked TJ Doheny. And he didn't lose a point, right? I'm okay with that. It doesn't matter to me, really, but it's just funny because the way people act when certain people receive infractions and they go under the radar, or, it's a blatant blunder by the referee not to take a point, then they act like it's the end of the world. Remember just the other day, everybody was screaming for a certain somebody to get disqualified, because he did something illegal. Of course, the we already know that you should be reprimanded for everything that you do wrong, but it's never the fighter's fault, right? It's not Nick Ball's fault that he didn't get a point deducted for kicking TJ Doheny.
Took me a little bit too long there, that's why. Ball, yeah, oh, that's naughty, isn't it?
Hit him with a donkey kick, you know, it's the refs. But at the same time too, I don't think that every infraction means that you should get an instant disqualification. These things are up to the discretion of the ref, and that's how it should be. So I'm cool with Nick Ball not being reprimanded or having any type of consequence for his actions, no immediate ones and no harsh ones. But at the same time, what I don't like is a contradictory coming from the boxing fans and boxing media. Keep the same energy in every single situation, not just because you like or dislike a guy, you know. But this fight was terrible. You know, I think that Nick Ball didn't do anything but prove that he's clearly the worst champion at 126, you know, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Because the champions at 126 are all strong. You know, you have Rafael Espinosa, who I think is the best at 126. I always thought that for a while. You have Stephen Fulton and you have Angelo Leo. But the difference between them and Nick Ball is that they're actually fighting competitive fights. You know, Stephen Fulton just won his championship off of beating Brandon Figueroa in his second fight at 126. You know, it was a close matchup, you know, and then Angelo Leo, he's fighting Tomoki Kameda. He's a #1 ranked guy in the IBF sanctioned body, where coincidentally that's where Angelo Leo has the belt at. And then Rafael Espinosa is fighting Nunes, who's a tough fighter. You know what I'm saying? Nick Ball brought a guy up coming off of a stoppage loss at the lower weight division, and he has 5 losses already. Nick Ball was his 6th loss. So I don't want to hear anything about Nick Ball being this or being that. If Naoya Inoue chooses to fight him, to which he responds sarcastically saying, hey man, you know, because Nick Ball, you know, lacking awareness, he said, let me know when you want to kick it at featherweight. And Naoya Inoue responded like this, basically saying that, hey man, I beat that guy and all I needed was 2 fists. I ain't need a kick.
Body punchers, and now you see the reaction from Doheny.
Damn.
He said, hold up. Yes, he did. Hold up. He hit me in the stomach, and he just dislocated my back.
I ain't need to use my feet, you know, so he's throwing a little shot at him. But if this fight ever does happen, which I'm not really intrigued by it, but I mean, it's a cool fight, you know, if it does happen and Naoya Inoue does move to 126, if he beats Ramon Cardenas in his next fight, then I'll be cool, you know, I'll watch it for sure. And I definitely have Naoya Inoue, man, because if this fight was, if TJ Doheny, you know, their commonality of opponents, you know, to justify this fight, because in some people's minds this is all it takes to justify a fight between Naoya Inoue and Nick Ball, is them having a common opponent in a 38-year-old 6 loss now, excuse me, TJ Doheny, then yeah, let it happen. And but if you're gonna use that same theory, then I have no reason to think that Nick Ball will hold a candle to Naoya Inoue, which I didn't think that he would beat him before, but I thought it would have been a little bit more competitive until last night. You know, I think Naoya Inoue is going to smoke him, but you know, we'll see how it goes. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that, man. What do y'all think about the kick, and what do you think about the fight nights this weekend, man? I thought that was okay. You know, shout out to Nick Ball for winning, and shout out to TJ Doheny for putting on a strong performance, but I think that it was more indicative of where Nick Ball is not at than it is that Nick Ball had a good fight against a worthy opponent, because let's keep it real, he was not a worthy opponent, and no disrespect to TJ Doheny, but it is what it is. We're gonna call it all the way right, and we're gonna call it right down the middle, and we're gonna keep it 100. This was nothing but a cherry pick. So it proved nothing. But yeah, man, don't forget to smack that like button. But most importantly, remember, with God, we can do anything. Without God, we're nothing. The doctor's out. Peace. From the hood to college, both worlds they had to meet. 6 degrees between us, so cold, we're about to freeze. But we're Florida boys, hot takes, we bring the heat. We're moving the culture, the engineers to the streets.